So I need to download the beach scene in order to import my house into it. The beach scene is actually in the Beachbox folder project. It's this file here. If you download it, you need to move it to your folder, which you created at the end of the last video, called Beachbox Blender. I put mine on the desktop. You can put yours wherever you want. And in it, you should have two files so far. The Beachbox OBJ file, which you downloaded from the email that you got from Autodesk, and the beach scene 2018 version 1.blend, which you have downloaded from that folder on the LMS. If you open the blend file, you should see this, and that's what we're going to start with. And before we go any further, we're basically just going to set up a new group over here. I believe that we can make a group by going up here, and we're going to create a new group. If we put the group up here, it just helps us to be able to organize our house. So we need to, let's just double click into that and call it our house. And that will basically make it easier when we do import our house. I'm going to basically uncheck this one here and make this my active house there. There you go. The camera seems to be connected to it somehow. So basically I'm going to now go File, Import, and I'm going to choose the wavefront, which is the OBJ format. I'm going to now get my Beachbox OBJ and import that. And in it comes, it's massive. Before I do anything else, I'm going to go Object, Group, and I'm going to go Add Selected to Active Group. And I'm going to choose House. So now if I open up this house, I should see everything in there. While everything's still selected, I'm going to basically scale it down. I'm going to move my mouse up to this top corner up here, press the S key, and scale it down to a size that I'm relatively happy with, which for me it's going to be there. I'm going to press R to rotate, and I'm going to rotate it around the X axis first by 90 degrees, and you'll see it's upside down. So I'm going to put a minus button in front of that, and that's going to be the right way up now. Possibly a bit too big still, so I'm going to scale it down a little bit further. I'm going to pull it up by about that far this time around. Just going to make sure that I'm happy with the fact that I can see underneath it from all sides. I don't want any sand sort of coming up through the floor. So if I go too far back here, for example, you'll see that the sand is going to come through the floor. You don't want the sand to come through the floor, so you need to make it so that it's around about there. Once you deselect it, so once you select something else, so for example, let's click over here and select this rock over here, which is actually the whole background terrain, by the way. You can't easily select any of it again to move it, so you've got to select the whole house up here in this thing here, so you can move it around. If you want to move it around any further, you've got to select that. So now that you've got that in the right place, it should be good. You can see, if you look underneath, you can see the pylon sticking down, two parts for the fence. We now have a white house. We might just want to get our camera now. So let's click on the camera there. Just move it back this way. You can see it's looking this way, so I'm going to rotate. You can see it's looking that way because if you look at it, the open side of the camera is that side, the big rectangular side. So I'm going to rotate this round in a Z axis now. So it's looking at my house. Let's just go 180. Press enter. I'm going to change the view through the camera. And you can see I'm pretty close there. So I might want to, this menu here, can be dragged in and out. I'm going to lock the camera to view. And I'm going to move out so I can see a nice angle. And this is probably something that you should render now that you've got a nice angle. So let's just go render, render, and render an image. It's going to take a couple of minutes to do this on my computer. So once it's done, basically I will show it to you. But basically you want to render at each stage so that you have that for your records. And let's just wait for that to happen. So here we have our completed render. By the way, if your render is taking too long, you can basically turn this, so click on this little camera here, and turn this setting down here, it's down here in the setting here, to 50%, and it will actually render a lot less pixels. Obviously, if you're doing something for printing or something for final rendering, you want to turn that right up and you want to spend the time doing it. But for these initial renders, it's fine to do it like this. I'm going to go image, I'm going to go save as image, and I'm going to save it in my folder on the desktop, and I'm going to give it the name up here of initial render 01, and hit save. We'll be doing a few of these initial renders just to actually see what it looks like as we go. Now, we've lost all of our whiteness, we've lost all of our textures and that sort of thing that we added in Fusion. We even can't see through the windows, they're all boarded up. We'll fix that in the next video as we create some shaders and some glass.